Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Ruka.
And Big Boy Salmon here, bringing you our part 3 of Overlord Season 4.
Episodes 8 through 10. So they've basically missed out an entire arc. If you want to know more about it, again, we encourage you to look at missed content. I'm not sure if they're going to put this in the upcoming movie, so I don't really want to even say anything just in case I'm spoiling it. So if you do want to know like what's been missed out, you can go to a bunch of different people. Annie News do miss content on things. I'm not sure if they're covering Overlord this season,
but it's a Holy Kingdom arc, just in case you need something to focus on when you're searching.
So the other nobles and Philip encourage each other to make a really ridiculous mistake. I don't know if you can call it. Yeah, I'm going to call it a mistake because they're really stupid.
It's not a mistake.
But he decides that he's going to take over some of the carriages from the Sorcerer's Kingdom and steal their food supplies and sell them on himself. This is so stupid. I don't know what he was thinking. And unfortunately, they actually didn't show us how he actually did that. I feel like they should have showed us, because although it was really stupid to do it because of who it was directed at, it would have worked if it was someone lesser.
I disagree with you. I don't think it would have worked on anyone lesser. I think he would have been killed if it was anyone lesser. I know the anime doesn't tell you, but I feel like I should tell you how it actually went down, because Ruka's right. It's stupid. Like it's like really, really ridiculous. So Hilma gives Philip a suit of armor with a helmet and everything. Philip, being the wise guy that he is, doesn't wear the helmet part of the armor, so everyone knows exactly who it is. So the two other barons, these are the two that he went to have a beer with. So those two tell him that it's a great idea and encourage him. On the day of the deed, when they meet up with Philip, they are covered from head to toe. You can't tell who it is and what's going on. Those two's plan was to let Philip take the fall and then re-steal it afterwards in order for it not to get back to them. Which is smart. That's very smart.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So Philip goes and stands in front of the carriage and goes, "Yo, we're taking this carriage." Oh, I even forgot. The people that Philip brought, which is villagers that were troublemakers in his domain, who had no weapons, no armor, no military know-how.
They were farmers, so they only had the equipment for farming.
Yeah. Ruka, where are you trying to see that this would work with someone else? Yeah.
No,
wait, let me finish.
I'm saying because they're basically acting as bandits, this is actually something that could work. In anime, you see it happening.
Yeah,
where it can be robbed. If they didn't rob anyone of note, it would have been ignored.
Okay. Yes, I agree with what you're saying in terms of the anime world, but this is Philip. So Philip stands in front of the cart, which is heavily armed, by the way, because they have got mercenaries that would rather die completing the mission than give up and save themselves because of the 8 fingers. The 8 fingers are scary, and they are more scared of going back and reporting that they failed than to die with the mission. So these guys are hard guys. They're not guys that you can F with, alright? So, heavily armed, no chance of you winning with a bunch of farmers, yeah?
And they didn't even want to be there as well. They didn't want to do it. They thought it was a bad idea.
It was a horrible, horrible idea. So Philip stands in front of the thing and says, "Yo, we're taking this." The merchant who's actually delivering the carriage to the Holy Kingdom is thinking that the 8 fingers have forgot to tell him that this is part of the plan and doesn't want to rock the boat. And so therefore leaves it with them, thinking, you know what, I'm probably going to obstruct something if it doesn't happen. Because of how ridiculous it is that Philip has come without a helmet on to rob the thing. And he goes, "I know exactly who this Donnie is. I can see his face. I know he's the Montserrat Baron. I know him." So obviously, for him to be that brazen, it must be part of the plan.
Yeah.
And so therefore, he left the cart. Now Philip thought that he was going to be a badass, and told him, "Yo, we're taking the horses too." And that's when he realized that it was out of his depth, because the mercenaries shot a couple of arrows right at his feet and told him, "Bruv, you're pushing it."
Yeah.
That is what happened. It would not work with anyone else
No.
if it was Philip in charge of it. And also, the other two barons that were there were dumbstruck when they figured out that it actually worked. They were like, this shouldn't have worked.
Yeah,
because they set up a trap for Philip afterwards to go and take him, and their whole plan was to murder everybody so that it couldn't get back to them.
Yeah.
So, yes, that is what happened, and that is what the anime missed out. And I think that it was criminal of the anime to miss this out, because it was hilarious reading it. I had to read it a couple of times going, you know what? How did this happen?
And in the lead up, you were just thinking, what? Philip can't possibly be doing it. You even started second guessing, like, oh, well, maybe Hilma's told him to do it. Like, there's got to be something, because there's no way anyone would be this stupid. But of course he is. And then that made the NPCs talking about it to Ainz even more hilarious, because they were mirroring what the reader was thinking, like how dumb he was. That there's got to be something more, because there's no way someone is this dumb.
Yeah.
And then Ainz was like, maybe he is. And then everyone jumps onto his bandwagon, as we already saw. But yes, the anime has seemed to miss out big chunks of things, as if it's just racing to the finish line. And I don't really know why it's doing that, because there's a lot of good content in the book that they could easily translate into the anime version.
I don't understand why they're racing, because like half of these arcs could take a whole season by themselves. Like the Dwarven arc could have taken a whole season by itself, because there's parts of Shaltia's growth and whatever, like maybe not a whole season, but half a season could have been the Dwarven arc itself. I do, however, want to say it hurt me a little when they didn't do the Holy Kingdom arc, but if they do go through with the movie, it makes total sense. It's my favorite arc in the whole entire series of Overlord, and if they do it justice, I will be personally happy.
My worry is that they are racing ahead and they're catching up really fast to the current books. And my worry is that there's not going to be a season 5 for some years.
The author has already expressed multiple times that they are tired of writing this book.
I know, which is a worry as well.
We were supposed to get, 22 books at first. Then it went down to 17 books. Then there's rumors now saying that it could be 16 books. And he's just finished 15. Now, book 15, I haven't finished reading it, hence why I'm not talking too much about it. Book 15 seems very small compared to book 13. And book 14 was a letdown in my opinion.
Yeah, it was.
And book 14 is literally where we are in the anime right now, as we speak. So, I don't know what's going on here, but
the 4 armaments came to help a small village fight the undead, and even this, I felt like it was lackluster the way that they've shown it in the anime. Like in the book, you were really rooting for the town because they actually allowed you to get to know a lot of the people who lived there, their opinions and their personalities. You know how Overlord does it. They get you to like someone and it's like, we're killing them anyway. You know it's happening, I know it's happening, but still fall in love with these people. I don't think they did that so much here. It did feel like a bit of a rush, but they did come to help, and they had a good strategy. The way that they had arranged the magic casters, the archers, and the other foot soldiers, they did arrange it really nicely. And then we had Lilina. She is much worse in the book, so I'm kind of happy that they reduced it a little bit. She is a disgusting human being. As you can see, she was extremely happy to try and get married to a 12-year-old.
Okay, I agree that is wrong, but it's the time of nobles and kings and queens. I mean, they were all getting married at 12 and stuff like that anyway at the time.
No, you can't make this work.
I'm not trying.
We all know
listen,
what kind of person
don't
she
say,
is.
Don't say it like that. I'm not trying to make it work. I'm just saying I understand the context.
You're definitely trying to make
Shut
it work.
up here, fam. That's not the fact. So, just say contextually, it made sense. She was just a bit too drooly about it. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Seeing Negredo for the first time, though, I felt like they gave the correct amount of horror. Although I feel like the face was not as horrific. It was more the anticipation to seeing it, like the suspense before you actually got to see the face unveiled.
Yeah.
I liked it. I enjoyed that touch of horror to it.
So before in the last episode, we said that Shaltir is the strongest Floor Guardian. And though, yes, that is true, Negredo's not technically a Floor Guardian, but she is the strongest entity in Nazarick. Period. Hands down. That's it. There is no one that can beat her in a fight. And it's been speculated in the source material that she was made in a different way using one of the wish spells in order to become this way. And God blimey, she is so scary. She's not the kind of Floor Guardian you really want, but she's the one you've got, and we're so lucky that Ainz can still have sway over her in that sense. Because if he didn't, and she wanted to take over, she'd be taking over. But I want to go back to what you talked about, you know, with the whole little city in Nawel, where we saw them guys bring the two, one Death Knight and one dual wield Death Soldier. Yes, that is how it happened in the book. But what I read in the books, which I really wish the anime did do, was show the other things that they were doing. For example, Shaltir did something really brilliant, and unfortunately I'm not going to spoil it for you. You should read the book standard. But Shaltir did something brilliant while taking over a city. Cocytus had his own versions of taking over city.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading the books,
They didn't show any of the battles.
I was anticipating that the anime might actually show how they actually took over some of the cities, and they missed the trick. And as we keep saying, and we've been saying for the past few parts, is that it seems like they're just breezing through the whole thing. Like they're not giving you time to ruminate over some of the complexities between Ainz's inner monologue, Ainz's perceived self, and what's actually really going on. See, when I'm sitting here telling you that I think Ainz is actually under the spell of his overlord persona, it's not easily seen when they're just breezing through the whole thing. Do you get what I mean? So I look like a dickhead, and it's just weird, isn't it?
And this is actually the first time where we're actually seeing Nazarick go to war. It's the first time that we actually get to see them, although they're pulling back on their powers a little bit. It's concentrating more on the strategy of it, and they didn't do well with all of their battles.
Yeah, some of their battles showed some flaws in Nazarick that they patched up because they learnt from it.
Exactly, which made Ainz's speech to them about not always doing well make more sense as well, but they've missed it. It's not that the anime is bad. I actually am still enjoying the anime, but for people who haven't read the books, you're missing so much, and we can't really speak about it without saying what they've missed out of the anime.
I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Now, I want to move on to one of my favourite parts of the book, which is when Zanuck decides that he's going to go and speak to Ainz. And by this point, you're really seeing a difference in his character. There's been a build-up. You've been seeing the difference where he was more sort of nonchalant to being more responsible for the kingdom, thinking about sacrificing for them and trying his best to make them thrive. And you saw him meet up with Ainz, and they did kind of bond in a strange way. Even though he knew he was going to die, he was still prepared for it. And I, at this point, actually wanted him to live. I wanted something to happen where he could live, but of course, the people around him decided that they were going to murder him and offer his head up to Ainz, which was the worst thing to do because it pissed him off so much, and it f***ed it up for everybody else because now he's on a real rampage.
Ainz's chat with Zanuck is a very profound moment in the book. That whole conversation, what is your true goal? Why are you here? Why are you doing this? Now, they said that it's very, what was the word that they used? Cruel is one of the words, and I can't remember the other words. But in the book, they say it's very petty. And it from the outside in, imagine, you're about to go throw down with the strongest magic caster you've ever seen. He has a military force that outsurpasses yours to the point that you had to give him a city just to pacify him, or else it would have been your kingdom. You lot have forgotten who this Donnie is, innit? Do you know what I mean? And so you sat down and you called him to his face being petty because you're about to die. And Ainz tells you, look, I am smart enough to probably figure out some other way of making sure that my happiness happens. But would it be stupid of me to go and look for that other way when right here, right now, it's very easy for me to gain that? The moment that it hits, the nobles of the kingdom killed Zanuck, the only one who's willing to go to the end with this whole ordeal, it stopped Ainz's point. So I'm here reading this and watching this thinking, Ainz is not pissed off that they killed Zanuck. He doesn't give a about Zanuck in that sense. Yeah, he's had a conversation with him, but they're not besties. Do you get what I mean? Ainz is pissed off that now that you've shown that you're not going to put your whole full fight into it, there is nothing more to learn here. I cannot increase Nazarick anymore. You done ruined this whole preparation and strategy that I am doing in order to make sure Nazarick is strong by giving up.
Yeah.
And now that you've done, I'm done.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not interested anymore.
I can't win. Like, I'm not here to win. I'm winning anyway. How I win is important here. Yeah. Because if someone strong comes along, I want to be able to look back on this and, like Demiurge said, creating a history of conquest and a history of defeats and wins and whatever. Yeah. I want to look at it and go, cool, this is the situation that happened here. I know what I need to do now. Unfortunately, you done f***ed up. And that is what pissed him off and made him send you to Neuronus. I'm so sorry for you.
I mean, Neuronus is the torturer. She tortures the prisoners. We have seen her in earlier seasons doing some very interesting things.
Oh, God.
And not only that, but Ainz said to not kill any of them until they beg for their lives to be ended, and even then, do not end it too quickly. This is probably one of the harshest things that he's actually said directly to an NPC to do to another human being. Usually he doesn't really say much and he doesn't know really what's going on, but this is the first time where we've seen him thoroughly punish someone and know exactly what is going to happen to them. And on that note,
don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and also check out our Bomb Anime Insta on Instagram, Bomb Anime Insta, all one word.
And if you made it this far, we really appreciate you.
Peace.